All right. Okay. So next fight up on the card, we have Neil Magny versus the Ian Machado Garry. Now,
Great fight.
Record on this one, you have 28-11-0 for the stubborn Neil Magny, and then you have the 12-0-0 for the undefeated Ian Garry. Quite an exciting one. Certainly quite exciting. Height-wise, not a big difference, but as always, Neil Magny has a freakishly long reach, and it's going to be freakishly so in this fight as well. So whilst they're going to be coming in at the same height, he's going to have that freakishly long reach by about 5.5 inches in this one too. So yeah, it's no small feat. Not at all, or hand, shall I say. And then you got, if we go straight to the striking, because I think in this particular matchup, it's going to be two areas. It's going to be in the clinch or it's going to be in the striking. And
1,000%.
Yeah? Go on, Ash. What you got for this one?
Yeah, and this is the thing. I can't wait to break this one down because it's such an interesting fight because it was meant to be Jeff Neal versus Ian Garry, wasn't it?
Jeff Neal, Ian Garry.
It was meant to be Jeff Neal.
Oh, and it changed. Right. Yeah.
So, and this is the thing. I think it wouldn't have been an easier opponent. Stylistically, it would have been a better matchup for Ian Garry because Ian Garry likes to stand and strike and utilize his range, utilize his jab. And obviously, we all know Jeff Neal likes to stand and crack as well.
Yeah.
Now he's fighting an awkward guy in Neil Magny. And we've watched Magny for many of years now and how awkward he is and sometimes frustrating. But like, for me, you've said it there in the grappling and up against in the clinch, up against the cage. Neil Magny's crafty. And if he gets Ian Garry in them scenarios, Ian Garry could be in for a long night. Let's be honest. There's been plenty of fighters I've counted out against someone like Neil Magny.
Yeah.
And it is prevailed. So could it be prevailed in this one by just utilizing the grappling? Like we were just saying in the last fight, you may need one thing. And that could be just Neil Magny's grappling.
Look, you're right. It could be exactly down to that. That's all it could be down to. But you're right. And also Jeff Neal was in the previous fight, and now it is Neil Magny. But I do wonder when that happened because I was looking at Ian Garry's on Embedded, but also checked out some of his Instagram stuff, and he's been training with Phil Rowe. And Phil Rowe obviously fought Neil Magny in his last time out. And they came close. Phil Rowe was surprisingly competitive in that fight. I thought it would be Neil Magny all day, but he's just as tall. Phil Rowe's just as awkward. He's the closest fighter you can find in the UFC today with a very similar body type as Neil Magny. And as a person kind of stone you want to be training up against, opponent you want to be training up, sparring partner you want to train up against for an opponent like Neil Magny. So I do feel like, I think it was like 5 days ago I could see this. I'm not sure when he brought Phil Rowe in, whether it was while he was looking at Jeff Neal or all the while or only recently. But fundamentally, I think this guy might be ready he might have Neil's number and just being ready for, he's been in the octagon a number of times against such a very similar adversary and a worthy adversary as well, because that fight was close. Split decision win.
Yeah, crazy.
Man, yeah. I Phil Rowe really surprised me and impressed me in that fight. When it came down to matter most, I think it did lead on the cardio. Externally, these guys, he was very competitive in the striking, competitive in the clinch exchanges as well. It was just the cardio where Neil Magny had that advantage, and it kind of wore it out of Phil. So yeah, look. In this fight, I'm not really going to touch much on the grappling. I feel like, that does lead more in Neil Magny's favor. Yeah. Certainly so. It's going to be a stand-up striking affair. If anything, it will be clinching against the cage, initiated from Neil Magny's part. But, why wouldn't you? When you got dangerous weapons like Ian Garry, you do not want to be letting them things running free in there. Tie him up, mitigate the risk of you getting hit by him. Would be wise 100%. from Magny's side. Shall we check what the gauges have to say about this one?
Yeah, just quickly get the comment from Breezy. Breezy says he's been flat out over here. Not much time for much else. Too tired on the weekend and evenings. Need to book some time off.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, book some time off, mate, and then
Come
enjoy
see
the
us.
ATF weekender.
Book some time off. Come see us. We'll have you on the couch here, and you can just be like, have a holiday around ours.
I mean, book in at the ATF hotel.
Yeah.
JK and so will look after you, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Plonk you down here on the sofa. We do the watch logs at night. It'll be class. We have a great time. Yeah. Have dinner out on the balcony as well.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
Of that.
That's chucked in there.
Yeah, throw it in there for free. Go on, you can have that for free. Oh, as well. But yeah, so we've got the gauges up here, right? I might go from bottom to up because striking, or shall we go striking? Let's go top down then. Striking,
I'll go Ian Garry in that one.
I think you do, don't you? I think you really do. It's not to say that Neil Magny doesn't have it. He does.
No, exactly. And
he's awkward with it, which is good.
This is what I was going to say. He's a very awkward sort of style of striker, and sometimes he can be very good. Like in was it the Michael Chiesa fight where he was literally doing so well on the feet, and then at times he was going for the takedown instead of keeping it standing.
Yeah,
and he can be because he's got range as well, and he does when he strikes, he can strike very well.
Yeah,
but he just has that tendency of mixing in the takedown at the wrong times. So
yeah.
But if we're going to be talking about dangerous, who's going to be more dangerous?
He surprised me against Jeff Neal.
Yeah, exactly, as well, yeah.
Yeah, agreed. And then we got to the grappling. I think on this one,
Neil Magny, yeah.
Yeah, we'll go Magny on the grappling. Where's my grappling button? Yeah, I pressed that one. Strange. So grappling on the for Magny, and then power. I will probably go
Ian Garry, yeah.
Ian Garry, really. Well. But let's have a look at the wins by knockout. Yeah, 58% of his wins come by knockout. That's Ian Garry. Lethal hands. That's been said, and that is done. Speed. I'll go Garry again.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Cardio.
I'm gonna go Magny.
Yeah, I'll toss it to Magny. I think so too. I mean, he's just a unrelenting force as it.
Well, that's the thing as well. Like I was saying earlier, like if Neil Magny can make this fight awkward, make it ugly, and sort of just wear on Ian Garry, even if it's up against the cage, wearing on him, a couple of knees, soften him up, make Ian Garry work, defend. You could go 3 rounds and Neil Magny could win a decision. I can see it.
This is it. It's very possible. It's very possible. I think for this fight, I will side with the gauges on this one. I think the things that are in blue or are ticked for the fighter are important and are ways, of course, of beating his opponent. So speed, power, and striking, that can get a job done against someone like Neil Magny. I think we've seen him lose in the past to likes of Gilbert Burns, Shavkat Rakhmonov, and Joaquim Silva as well. And look, in a lot of these bouts, it wasn't just on striking. It was just the ability to mix it up. I don't think, that's another point actually as well. I don't think Neil Magny has lost to a striker as of late. Shavkat Rakhmonov is a decent striker, but it was in the guillotine choke where it went wrong. So yeah, it's with the grappling credentials is what kind of where his grip night lies. So this is going to be an interesting one for Ian Garry because historically,
this is a very interesting fight. Yeah.
There's some argument there for Neil Magny if you wanted to go that way. But yeah, for me, Ian Garry, I think he's going to stay undefeated after this one. And he's just going to be wise enough to stay out of the dangers of Magny's pressure.